Welcome once again to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett, usually with Kent Myers. Kent is off this week. He'll be back on a future show. On this week's show, we're going to learn more about the Oklahoma Regional Food Bank. Rodney Bivens is going to be here. He's the founder and executive director of the Regional Food Bank. And Teresa Rose, who works out at Chesapeake Energy but is very involved in what the food bank has to offer, will be here to offer the private sector's point of view on the great offerings offered by the Regional Food Bank. So all that's coming up today on The Verdict. I hope you'll stay with us and join us, and we'll be back right after this.
America has been here before, faced with daunting challenges, and we've always found the courage to lead. Foreign oil, greenhouse gases, we have the power to do something about them with American natural gas. Chesapeake is forging ahead, converting our fleets to clean-burning natural gas vehicles, encouraging others to do the same. Welcome to America. Chesapeake, America's champion of natural gas.
Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate. We're accountants. We do taxes, business valuations, estate planning, and consulting. And we're right here in Oklahoma, working with the owners of small and medium-sized businesses. Steve Wilsey and Stuart Meyer have the resources and the experience. Wilsey, Meyer, Eatman, Tate in Oklahoma City and Tulsa.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. Mick Cornett without Kent Myers this week. Kent will be back next week. But we're going to discuss today the Regional Food Bank as it applies to Central Oklahoma. And we have with us the founder and executive director of the Regional Food Bank of Oklahoma, Rodney Bivens. Rodney, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Rodney got his undergraduate degree at Southeastern State College and then got his master's at the University of Oklahoma. He was the director of Hunger and Aging at Neighborhood Services Organization, and in 1980 founded the Food Bank. It serves more than 825 elementary schools through 53 Oklahoma counties, and there's a lot of work that we're going to learn about today. He is on the board of Feeding America and has been for over 12 years, making his first visit on The Verdict. Welcome to the show.
Thanks very much.
Our other guest is Teresa Rose. She is the Director of Community Relations at Chesapeake Energy Corp. She has held that title since 2008. She got her undergraduate degree at OCU. She got her law degree at the OCU School of Law. She was an attorney with the Center for Education Law for nearly 6 years. She was an adjunct professor at OCU, taught in the performing arts sector of that offering, and was awarded the Outstanding Volunteer Fundraiser by the Association of Fundraising Professionals in 2011. Welcome back to The Verdict, or welcome to The Verdict. Rodney, tell us the mission of the food bank. Since you were the founder of the organization, what were you trying to accomplish?
Well, really, taking food in the early days back in the 80s, taking food that was being wasted or thrown away and making it available to people who didn't have it.
What did you see? Do you remember a specific instance where you saw food that was just being wasted and it just seemed like they needed some sort of organization that could sort of tie these two things together?
Well, I really did. We worked with the Neighborhood Services Organization. We had a tutoring program in the summer where we had 10 high school students and 10 low-income kids that would come in for tutoring in the summer. And during that tutoring process, we realized very early on, a lot of those kids came to the tutoring sessions, had no breakfast, didn't have a place to have lunch. So we started providing breakfast and lunch for those kids, and I realized that food could really be a tool to an education to keep those children in school.
Was this about the time that the federal programs are starting to gain some momentum?
Absolutely, during the 80s, and we're looking for those to get reimbursement for those meals we provided at noon, so it was tremendous help.
I think a lot of people think, well, they provide food for people who need it in central Oklahoma, but really it's a much larger scope than that. It's not just Oklahoma County, for instance.
That is correct. We serve all of 53 counties, all of central and western Oklahoma, really 48,000 square miles, 77 counties. So we're literally going all the way to Boise City, which is 32 miles from Colorado.
That must be like 2/3 of the state or so.
It is 2/3 of the state. You're absolutely right. We serve almost 800, well, actually right now 900 partnered organizations, 460 private, nonprofit, faith-based organizations, and about 470 elementary schools.
And Tulsa has a similar organization that serves the other third of the state.
That's actually correct. We helped start the food bank in Tulsa back in 1985. It's called the Community Food Bank of Eastern Oklahoma, and they serve the 24 counties in eastern Oklahoma. Basically do the same thing we do, about a fourth or third of the size we are.
Mm-hmm. And Chesapeake, Teresa, has been a supporter for a long, long time.
Yes, we have. We have both financially supported as well as been a supporter through our employee volunteers. We actually, our donations to the food bank go back prior to even the records that we have. So it probably is more in the tune of the late 90s, 98, 99, that we started partnering with the food bank.
Why is it important?
Well, as Rodney said, hunger can be such an obstacle to so many opportunities for individuals, whether it be children or adults. When you don't know where your next meal is coming from, or you haven't had a meal, it's hard to think about being a positive, constructive citizen. It's hard to think about completing your education. It's really hard to get to some of those kind of needs in our lives when you don't even have a place to eat.
Chesapeake has a large footprint across the state of Oklahoma, very similar to the food bank, and it has to be fulfilling to know it's helping people throughout the state of Oklahoma who aren't necessarily as easily to get to with services.
Absolutely. I remember when we had a board member on the regional food bank, and that board member, in conjunction with Rodney, came to us and started talking about the backpack program, and a program where we could very focused provide opportunities for food for our children over the weekend. And when we really took a look at the footprint of the regional food bank and those communities that they feel like they could initiate the program pretty easily and quickly, it really did resonate with the footprint that we have in the state. So it was a natural fit, and we were thrilled to be able to help support and work on that. We've got employees throughout our operating areas in the state of Oklahoma that also volunteer at different food pantries.
And talk about that backpack program. Exactly what is it at the end of
Well,
the day?
it is a program for children, so they have food over the weekend. Essentially, on Friday, they get a backpack, and it has commodities in it. It has food for the children to take home, and so that they can eat over the weekend. What Rodney and his organization found out from teachers, from educators, was that oftentimes our kids would come to school on Monday very agitated. They couldn't sit down, they were disagreeable, just lots of disciplinary issues. And once they kind of started burrowing down, the kids were hungry because they maybe had only had a hot dog over the weekend, or maybe they had just had one peanut butter sandwich. So Rodney's organization, and Rodney with his leadership, came up with the backpack program so that these kids could be able to eat throughout the weekend. And I don't know, how many schools are you in now?
We're actually in 470 elementary schools in the 52 counties. And this year, we'll end up school year serving about 11,000 chronically hungry children. And we absolutely couldn't do that program without volunteers, because every one of those backpacks are packed at the food bank using volunteers. Last year, over 38,000 volunteers donated 120,000 hours to the food bank. And we simply couldn't fulfill our mission without those volunteers. It represents about $2 million if we had to pay for people's time. And it's volunteers coming out continually.
What days of the week is that taking place at the food bank?
Well, it's open every day, 5 days a week, and also Saturdays. We have open volunteering on Saturday morning, so anybody can show up at 9 o'clock and volunteer. We recommend everybody at least volunteer 2 hours. We also have, we're open 3 nights a week for people to come out and volunteer, and on Thursday nights, we have Rockin' Box.
And
so we'll have a local DJ come in, he'll spin records, or we'll have a comedian come in, they'll tell jokes, or we'll have karaoke, and the volunteers can get up and sing to the other volunteers. We just make it a fun event. We have a lot of families and people coming out on Thursday night just for Rockin' Box.
It sounds to me like the distribution may be as big of a challenge as the gathering of the food.
It absolutely is. Most people don't realize, they think the food falls through our roof or something. We have a facility that's about 150,000 square feet. We have 15 trucks that are on the road every day. They start leaving at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. Some of those trucks don't get back till the next day from delivering product. We're making over 1,100 deliveries every day, day in, day out. And then in some cases, we're actually picking up from our food donors and bringing it back to Oklahoma City so we can redistribute that product.
Now, we know that to a certain extent you're purchasing food on the open market or some level of the open market, and other times you're picking up food that would have gone wasted otherwise. Do you have a percentage on where the food comes from? Can you tell people where the food originates?
Well, right now about 18% of the product we distribute is purchased. We actually go out in the open market. We try to make spot buys. We try to find commodities that are down in price, and we can actually put a position on that product for a whole year. As an example, it's a great story. A guy ran the operations distribution facility for a peanut factory in Georgia. Had to be coming home to visit his mother who lived in Ponca City. He was traveling down I-35 and saw one of our trucks going down her side. Happened to have the Chesapeake logo on it. And called us. He said, is there anything I could do to help? And I said, we're always needing peanut butter. He said, well, I run a peanut butter processing facility. He said, what can I do to help? And he gave us a price on peanut butter and said, I'll hold this price for the next 12 months for a semi-load every month. So it's people like that literally stepping up and wanting to help in their own individual way. In this particular case, corporation like Chesapeake Energy happened to be an out-of-state company, but they had a tie to Oklahoma. As you know, many Oklahomans are working throughout the country but have a tie back to the state and want to help.
Rodney Bivens is the founder and executive director of the Regional Food Bank of Oklahoma. Teresa Rose is on the board and also an employee of Chesapeake Energy Corp, which is a major funder of the food bank. We'll be back with more of them right after this.
The thing that has made the most sense for me is realizing that I am still an educator, and that is what I do at the Chickasaw Nation. I'm Dr. Amanda Cobb-Greetham. I'm a historian, and I'm Chickasaw. The Chickasaw Cultural Center is amazing. It is a very, very special place devoted to the sharing and to the celebration of Chickasaw history and culture. State-of-the-art technology, exhibits that are not like anything I've ever seen. The Spirit Forest is incredible, and you feel as if you have actually just walked into a forest with huge trees all around you. It's timeless, and yet it's sort of also representative of our time depth, to really just sort of reach through time and touch the past. By the end of the exhibits, you really have a sense of Chickasaw cultural and political resurgence, and the extent to which we are a healthy, dynamic, and vital tribe today. Chickasaws have always been an inclusive people. This is something for the whole community and for the state of Oklahoma.
I don't want to hope for the best. I want to become it.
I want you to see my potential.
Because I can be more than average. I can be amazing.
Because I know the hard way
and the right way
are one and the same.
I will make you proud.
And surpass even my own expectations.
I will lead.
I will lead.
I will lead America's energy future.
Oklahoma's oil and natural gas industry. Proud to equip Oklahoma students for greatness.
When you have something important to communicate, it becomes clear that there's a lot of competition for your audience's attention. So how can your message stand out and actually resonate with your audience? Legal Graphics has the answers. The team at Legal Graphics will work with you to plan, design, and even test your presentation to ensure your message will be heard and remembered. Call Legal Graphics today to schedule an appointment. The readiness is all.
Welcome back to the set of The Verdict. We are visiting with Rodney Bivens and Teresa Rose. They are very involved in what goes on at the Oklahoma Regional Food Bank. And Rodney, we talked a little bit about the number of volunteers. We didn't really talk about your paid staff, because certainly you have paid employees whose mission and obviously calling in life is to be a part of this project.
Yes, we currently have 90 employees, and we're very proud of employees. They're really extremely hard workers, and the majority of those are on our operations side, getting food out the door. And one of the things we're very proud of is our fundraising and administrative cost is less than 4%. So for every dollar donated to the food bank, our commitment is 96 cents of that dollar will help feed people in the state of Oklahoma.
Okay, so when you started this organization, did you see it getting to this level? Did you see it getting this large?
No, I never did. You know, I was picking up food from the back of Safeway grocery stores back in 1979 and never envisioned we'd have 15 to 16 semi-load trucks on the road delivering in 53 counties. But it's because of the community. The community has responded to the need, been very generous to us, and we're very appreciative of that support.
Give me a number again on the volunteers. How many volunteers?
Last year we had 38,000 volunteers that donated over 120,000 hours, and we welcome anybody to come out and volunteer.
And a lot of those were Chesapeake employees, Teresa. You must be proud of how your own employees roll up their sleeves and get out there.
Absolutely. Every summer, Chesapeake has an opportunity for our employees to use Chesapeake time, 4 hours, to go out and volunteer at the organization of their choice. One of the standing favorites is the Regional Food Bank. And we looked before I left, and we've got, this past year, we had about 450 just in that 2-month period that used their time to donate and work for the Regional Food Bank. But what's really interesting is from that, the people would become so impassioned about the mission of the Regional Food Bank that many departments, many of these groups have decided to do this as an ongoing volunteer project. So they come out monthly. They, will organize their time. I don't know if they go to Rockin' Boxin' Thursdays or not. I'm gonna have to check on that. But really do enjoy and appreciate the opportunity there. In addition, every year our interns that we have at Chesapeake, and we usually have 250 to 300 interns, they are asked to do some community service. And our HR department has identified volunteering at the Regional Food Bank as the project that we want those blooming professionals to become engaged with. And now these are interns from across the nation where we recruit. So it really is a great opportunity for them to see a real cornerstone organization in this community, what this community really holds to be of high value. So they go out and volunteer as well. So our employees really have embraced, not only from a financial perspective, but also with their own time, an opportunity to get involved with the food bank.
And there's the matching program. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Chesapeake has partnered with the Regional Food Bank. This was our 3rd year to provide a community matching program. The first year we did it, we provided $100,000, and I think the food bank generated about $800,000. And then the next year, I think we started out with $250,000, but increased it to $500,000. And Rodney I don't remember how much we raised that year, but the community again was very, very generous in responding. This year we thought, the community is stepping up their game, we're going to step up our game as well. So we provided a $1 million match for any contribution to the Regional Food Bank from the period of the end of November through December 31st. And we are very excited that, again, our citizens stepped up and they generated $3.8 million for the Regional Food Bank.
My goodness.
Yes, so we're very proud of that partnership and feel like it's obviously something that the citizens of central Oklahoma and western Oklahoma see of high value.
Rodney, if you had more money, where would you direct it? Where's the need? Where's the growing concern?
Our primary emphasis right now is childhood hunger, seniors, and then single-headed households. And obviously our childhood hunger program continues to expand. We started a new pilot program last year in the middle schools and high schools, school pantries. We now have 41 locations with school pantries. We're anticipating adding another 50 next year. We're now providing direct services to about 5,000 seniors every month. And these are seniors throughout our whole service area that are homebound, sometimes isolated, and many times do not have enough food just to get by, having to make choices between whether they can afford prescription or they can afford food. And those are choices we shouldn't ask people to make in Oklahoma, especially seniors who have given so much to our state.
And I think a lot of people think of hunger, especially with kids, and they think of an urban environment that, they might see a homeless person in downtown Oklahoma City and they might not see one in the rural sections of the state, but the rural sections have hunger issues as well.
Oh, absolutely. Just heard a story last week that a teacher was at the 100th day of her classroom and asked the students, if you had 100 wishes, what would you wish for? Some kid said, I wish I had 100 videos. Some child said, I wish I could go to Frontier City 100 times. And one child sitting in class said, I wish food could fall from the sky for 100 days so my family would have food on their table. And that says it all.
Yeah, it says a lot. And your board of directors is a pretty impressive group.
Yes, it is. Well, it's like any other nonprofit organization. You depend on people who are part of the community, provides credibility, provides resources to the organization, and they really help in all ways. Fundraising, volunteering, they come out and volunteer at the Volunteer Center also, and they help with our special events and our committees, and they really provide the organization with the professionalism and the expertise we need to succeed.
What do you need? What if people are watching this show and they want to help, what could they do?
I always tell people the three things. It's food, funds, and friends. Friends being a volunteer. Funds, obviously, helps us purchase product, it helps us distribute product. With the cost of fuel going up, we're adding $5,000 to $10,000 every month to our budget. We're losing some money through the state reduction in budgets. And so, obviously helps us. They can make a donation through our website, they can call our number directly, or they can provide a food drive. Chesapeake and many of the corporations do food drives, provide a shelf-stable product that a lot of times is not donated, and that's extremely helpful to us, and the letter carriers in the May.
And I would think the relationship with the school districts is important.
It is absolutely important. I'm really, really happy to announce that we have the backpack program in every elementary school in the Oklahoma City School District. And we're short 6 schools. We talked to the school district and they got those principals to come on board, and we're really happy to have that program in every one of the elementary schools in Oklahoma City.
And Teresa, Chesapeake's doing a lot of other things, not just the food bank. You want to kind of give a rundown of some of the other community involvement programs that you're proud of?
Oh, goodness. You know, we're proud of everything because this community is, as you very well know, at a benchmark place in our history. And it really happens through both volunteer work as well as our elected leadership. But so much of the strength of this community from our perspective is with the nonprofit organizations just like Rodney's that are doing so much. Everything from Neighborhood Alliance that helps at a very ground level perspective strengthen those communities, those neighborhoods that might be of risk to those people that live in those areas, to Youth Services of Oklahoma County that provide shelter to our teen homeless population, gives them direction and opportunities to continue their education, but gives them a safe place to stay. The list just goes on and on. CASA, Salvation Army. Our city really is very, very fortunate to have a strong capacity for those people willing to give of their time and their talent and fulfill the passion of helping other people.
Well, and Chesapeake's philanthropy is appreciated, know that. And please pass that along to your employees who give so generously.
Thank you.
Rodney, best of luck going forward this year. And I wanted to ask you, we had a warm winter. Are you affected by the warm temperatures? Is up or down? Is that good or bad?
Well, it's good to have the warm temperatures for the state of Oklahoma, especially compared to the last 2 winters we had. Ironic part for us, in a cold, cold winter, our freezers that hold about 64 semi-loads of product don't run near as hard, so our utility bills go down. Unfortunately, this winter, our utility bills did not go down.
All right, just one more hidden cost on the expense side.
That's correct.
Rodney, thanks for everything you've done over the last couple of decades in helping out at the food bank.
Thank you.
It's a tremendous testament to giving and to the ever-increasing needs in America and especially in Oklahoma. But a lot of people are being served by these two and a lot of people around the state who believe in resolving the hunger issues that we face. That's going to do it for right now. I'll be back with a final word right after this.
The good life comes naturally to Tulsa, where nature's beauty is matched with an eye for aesthetics. A legacy of neighborhoods graced with lawns and landscaping and handsome homes. A place that seems to have patented an ideal lifestyle. Bank First is loyal to the quality of life Tulsa assures its citizens, to the priority placed on education, culture, and growth. Loyal to builders who transform raw land into residential charm. developers who see opportunity and add vitality to Tulsa's economy. Bank First serves both enterprise and private lives that need a loyal partner. It's how we help nurture this city's very good life. Bank First. Loyal to Oklahoma. Loyal to you.
All children deserve a life of hope and love, but sometimes they experience a life of pain, neglect, and abuse.
When that happens, each child deserves all the quality assistance and representation that can be offered in our legal system. For more information, call 23-CHILD.
Oklahoma Lawyers for Children, helping to bring hope and love back to the lives of abused children.
You will always be mom and dad to me.
You have children coming from a different lifestyle, different mindset. You have to open your arms and really do what you have to do to have that child become a part of your family. And if it's more patience, that's what you do. Kids gotta know they can trust you. And that's what we try to do with these kids.
You will always be mom and dad to me.
The Journal-Record is pleased to be a sponsor of The Verdict. The Journal-Record, since 1903, the best source of Oklahoma business news and legal information. And for almost 30 years, Oklahoma political, government, and business leaders have turned to the McCarville Report for accurate, reliable, inside information. Visit the McCarville Report online.
Welcome back to The Verdict. We are wrapping up a show that dealt with the issues and triumphs of the Oklahoma Regional Food Bank. And, you know, just I think an opportunity here at the end of the show to really thank Rodney Bivens for what he's done for our community and indeed 2/3 of the state of Oklahoma. They serve more than 825 elementary schools through 53 Oklahoma counties. And of course, Teresa Rose is giving and a wonderful representative of our community, especially on the corporate side, representing Chesapeake Energy. We appreciate all of our corporate partners, and we appreciate you for watching The Verdict. We'll see you next week on another show.
The preceding program was produced exclusively for the Cox Channel.